Welcome back to Darshan Dev. I'm Darshan and this is our third video in the Getting Started with Django series. In the last video, we saw how we can create views and also route them through the URLs. So this is our home view, which is basically a list view for our items, which gives us all our items, and this is a detail view, which gives us a specific item when we pass in the ID. So in the last video, we also learned how to create our urls.py. This is for the home view and this is for the detail view. And also we learned how to display or return home.html, detail.html, these HTML templates when we give requests to a certain URL, like we see in here. So I have my server running, and on the localhost, when you go to /home, you will get this item list, and when you go to detail/some integer, which is our item ID, you will get some item in the return. So item with ID 1 is keyboard, item with ID 2 is mouse, so on and so forth. So in this video we are going to do the create part of our CRUD application. That is, we are going to make a form for our items. We have done the read part, which is the list and detail, and in subsequent videos we will also have the update and delete parts. So stay tuned, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and also press the bell icon so that you don't miss any further videos. So let's get started with building a form for our items. So to build a form, we go to our shopping list app folder and create our forms.py. And in there we import from Django import forms, and form is basically a class. So we do class item form, and this item form is going to inherit from forms.form. Okay, so we give it the same fields that are in our model because we want them filled, right? We want to fill the name and quantity through our form and generate this item model. So we give it a name field, which is going to be forms.char field, and this one's also going to have max length. That will be the same as we have done here. Just here it will be models.char field, that will be forms.char field, and the same goes for quantity. Quantity will be forms.integer field. Okay, that's it. This is your form, and now you import it to your view and you can do many other things with it. So let's create our create view here. We define our create view. It takes in request, and then we have to give a form into the create.html template, which does not exist yet, but we'll create it later. So we import the form which we have created just now. So from .forms we import our item form, and then here comes a special part. So when you're handling forms, you need to make sure that your request is a get or it is a post. So you have to check for it. So if request dot method is post, then you are going to handle it in here, and if it is get, then we'll see it later. If our request.method is post, then what do? We have our item form. We make an instance of the item form this way, and then we pass in the request.post into it. That is the posted data. So our request.post is the data that we post through the form, and we pass it into the item form which we have imported, and this creates our item form instance. Now for a form instance, we can check if it is valid. Just check for item form dot is valid method. So to check for its validity, what you do is, if item form dot is valid, so if the item form is valid, then it will return true. So if true, that way. If item form is valid, then you take data from it, and if it is valid, it returns a dictionary which is known as clean data. So the way you get data from it is, name is equal to item form dot clean data, which is the dictionary's name, then name, and you do the same for quantity. So our quantity equals item form dot clean data, then the square bracket syntax because it's a dictionary, quantity. So item form dot clean data quantity, that's it. We just have two fields. So what we do next is create our item model. Create our item from this. I think we have imported our item model. Yes, we have imported our item model. So with the help of the item model, we create an instance of the item model here, and then we save it to the database. An instance is basically an image of the item model. Okay, you can imagine it like an item model we have created is a you can imagine something like a bottle factory. You have a cast of a bottle in which you put plastic, and then you get a bottle. So the model of any model, it can be a user model, item model, cart model, anything. It is the cast, and then you put plastic into it, and that's your data. You can think of it as your data, and then you get an instance which is your bottle. Okay, so this model makes as many instances of bottles or items that you want. So to create our item here, what we do is item equals item dot object dot create, and in here we pass in the data which our model needs, that's the name and quantity. So we say name is name and quantity is quantity, that's it. And these second variables, which are name and quantity, refer to these two. Okay, and the blue ones refer to the model here in models.py. So now you get it. We use this item model which we have made here to make items. So we have made this item, this lowercase item, from this uppercase item, item.objects.create, this and this. So here we get an instance of this instance of that item. So when you have that instance, what you simply need to do is just put item.save and it will be saved. That's it. And your item will be, created. It will be saved to your database. And after an item is created, what do? You have to show that that item has been created. So you return or redirect to some page, and redirect is going to be a shortcut. So from Django.shortcuts import redirect, and right here you return a redirect to our home view. You can return a redirect to anything, but here it's going to be our home view. So if the item form is valid, we are going to redirect to the home view, and now we are going to handle the case where it is not valid. So if the item form is not valid, we will redirect to the same view, which is the create view, which will be return redirect it has a capital C, create view, that's it. And then the next condition is if it is not post, that is if it is get, then what do we do? If it is not a post request, then we render our empty item form. Our item form will be item form with nothing passed into it, and then in our context we will have our form we will pass this item form in there. Okay, so in our create.html, which we are going to create, we will have our item form. So request create.html, and then we pass in the context. So voila, I think we are done. So what remains is our URL configuration. Just go to urls.py, and it's going to be pretty similar to home. So we just make a few changes like create slash, and it's going to be create view. Even this is going to be create view, and then we import our create view. And then we save it, and now we are going to try it out. No, but we can't try it out. We have to create one more thing. Did you forget it? I just nearly forgotten it. It is our create.html, and here you are going to learn how to render our form in HTML. Our title will be create item. One thing you need to know here is the Django form does not render our form tags. So do this form action will be handled by the view. Method, you need to make sure that the method is post. Make sure that the method is post, and then you put in one more thing, that's the button. Submit button is also not given by your Django Forms. So it will be create item, and then what is our context variable? That is form. So we just put form here, and we save it. After we have saved it, we can simply go here to /create. It should give us a form, and it does. So our item list is here. Let's create something. We'll create a book with quantity 1, 2, 3, 4. Create item. So this was expected. We have failed the CSRF verification. What is CSRF? CSRF is cross-site request forgery. So to protect you against CSRF, Django has CSRF verification tags. So along with each and every view, you get a token. So copy this thing into your form, and then you will get a CSRF token along with each and every form that you post. So whenever you post a form, Django will check if it has come from the correct source, and that's done by making a random token which is then matched, and then you can be sure that it's from the correct source. So let's try to create it once more, and it should, yeah, it has created. See the last one, book quantity 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's go there. Let's go there once more. This time we'll create something like T. we'll create T with quantity 4, 5, 6, 7, and here it is. So we have our form working. So what do we do next? Actually, this form and this model are quite similar if you see them. See, name models.char field, this quantity models.integer field, and the same thing here, but it is forms.something and forms.something. So what we do here is we use model forms. So we make item form inherit from model form, forms.model form, and then we have a class meta, and here we don't need this. Here we just need to define what is our model and it will make a form for us. So from dot models I will import our item model and provide the model in here, that our model is item, and our fields is a list of the fields that you want in your form. So if your model has some field like user or something which you want to be auto-filled and you don't want it to be in your form, then what you can do is you can just leave it aside and put the remaining fields. Or there is also an excludes property which excludes a few fields. If you have more fields which need to be included than excluded, that will be more convenient. But you can do this since we just have two fields, fields equals name, quantity, that's it. You save it and it should work just as fine. It will reload your server and you go to here, you go to create, yeah, and then we'll make something like we'll make money, a lot of money. Money. How much should we make? We should make $1 million. Just type it, money quantity is 1 million. So the create part of our application, of our CRUD application is done. So in this video we learned how to work with Django Forms, how to work with Django Model Forms, how to make a create view and handle all the logic of the form. So that's it for this video. And if you don't know, this is a series of videos. So in the last video we learned how to make our list and detail views, which are over here, and also we learned to set up Django in the more previous video. So I'm going to continue this series, and in the next video we are going to learn the update and delete parts of our CRUD, and then this series will be done. So stay tuned with the series. Hope you loved learning Django with me, and if you feel that someone would benefit from this, please do share this video, like it if you liked it, and if you have any queries or questions, do post them in the comment section below. Bye bye.